What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Stellar Blade because even though it is bright and early on Wednesday morning, the game drops Friday. However, they just released the review embargo, so everybody who's secretly been playing it for the last couple weeks can finally tell us about the carnage and the combos and everything about how great it looks. And the scores are surprisingly positive. In this video, I want to take a look at the people that loved it, the scores, the ratings, and kind of the people that are the most negative on it. Because I will admit, I thought this game looked good. I enjoyed the demo they had and stuff, but I did kind of expect some people to rip it apart. Let's get into it. Hi, I hope you're having a great day. If you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so today I woke up at 7 a.m. to sort of prepare myself to film this video, and I noticed before this even dropped, before the embargo was up, there were a bunch of these journalists talking about the fact that the game may actually get a 5 out of 10. I'd like to remind everybody that a 5 out of 10 game is average. Everything above that is a good game. People that are going to give Stellar Blade a 6, 7, or 8 are not haters. Well, it turns out it got almost no 6s or 7s. It sounds like it got quite a few 8s and 9s. Okay, so just looking at the numbers, clearly this is probably not Game of the Year material. I think it looks cool. I like the art style. I like the bosses and stuff, but okay, it's not going to be anybody's favorite game of all time. I must admit though, these scores are pretty dang positive. It sounds like the lowest one of these early reactions is IGN, which gave it a 7 out of 10. Now, admittedly, part of the reason I thought this game was going to get lower review scores is because of sort of the attacks on its aesthetic. This. Hades is the kind of hot we need right now. This was a strange article published by Kotaku on Friday where essentially they're saying that there are games that are good hot and there's games that are bad hot. Very weird. Now, let me just say, every game has a different art style. These people are definitely hot in one art style. Eve is just a different art style. The lead character of Stellar Blade is not somehow less valid in her butt-kicking beauty. This quote is insane to me. Eve is a blank slate, a posable doll. Her bountiful chest having a idle heaving during idle animations, unlike Bayonetta, whose sexiness is folded into her personality and fighting style. Eve is just blandly attractive. Eve is the object of desire, not the owner of it. Okay, so obviously that's a psychotic thing to write. Okay, let me actually take a look at it. This is what one of my buddies put. I have a review coming soon for a Stellar Blade. It's odd and occasionally frustrating, but only because it feels like the developers were building this track along with all the weird, cool ideas they had. It feels like an excited 14-year-old frantically telling someone their idea of the most badass video game ever made, given a AAA budget, and it's also kind of like Nier Automata. It rules. Okay, so honestly, this sounds fantastic. I am going to review the game. I already have it pre-ordered. I've already put 3 or 4 hours into the demo, beating it again and again. But let me actually take a look at, here is Metacritic. Here, let's actually refresh this, make sure we have the hottest score. Ooh, it just dropped down. It was an 83. It just dropped down to an 81. So on Metacritic, it does this thing where it'll have a little thing called a blurb, where they essentially take the most core little paragraph and kind of slice that out and put it on a plate for you. Okay, so let's take a look at the most positive, and let's scroll down and take a look at the most negative, which in this case is still only a mixed review. So currently it has 54 positive reviews, 7 mixed reviews. Stellar Blade stands out as one of the best action-adventure games of its generation. Its combat system is both deep and multi-layered, ensuring that every encounter is an exhilarating experience. Now, that's something that I definitely got from the demo. Offering a range of options, players can tackle enemies in several ways, be it through offensive maneuvers or defensive strategies. Okay, that sounds freaking fun as hell. Let's just choose a random blurb here. Despite me not vibing well with the demo, we were utterly in love with Stellar Blade by the time the end credits rolled. Shift Up has done a tremendous job with their first AAA project, and it sets a high bar for modern action role-playing games. There is some pacing issues and the narratives definitely stumble, but the game as a whole is near perfect. Well, near perfect is definitely some very strong words. Let me do something. Everybody here sounds very enthusiastic about the combat. The combat looks incredibly good. Let's scroll down though. Let's see what somebody who didn't like the game thought. Man, that is a lot of positive reviews. God, you really got to go down to find the bad. It legitimately took me so long to even scroll down to the less positive reviews, which I feel like is definitely a sign as to how positive they've been thus far. But a lot of these websites I actually haven't heard of. Wait, Twinfinite are those people that get accused of hating PlayStation. They gave it a 7 out of 10. The Sixth Axis. Stellar Blade is a pretty enjoyable game to swing your hair-brand sword at, as long as you don't mind the obvious sexualization. There's a few rough areas, but nothing that spoils things overall, and there's plenty of interesting story to uncover as you fight your way through giant monsters with circular saws for heads and weird tentacles for legs. Yeah, this sounds great. Even their negatives sound like positive to me. Yeah, I want a big sexy lady to chop up monsters that don't make sense. That sounds incredibly freaking fun. I mean, this sounds like a guy being like, yeah, this ice cream is delicious and it's super cheap and it's giant. It's like, yeah, okay. Give me that. Give me this ice cream right here. Let me actually, for funsies, let's actually take a look at IGN's full review. Let's see here. In his own words, Stellar Blade director is a visualist, not a storyteller, meaning that whatever Stellar Blade lacks in its story, he tried to make up for in its gameplay. It's a refreshingly transparent statement, and after playing through Stellar Blade, one I find mostly accurate. This is a gorgeous action game with excellent character, monster design, and exciting combat that continues to evolve in fun and interesting ways across the 30-hour adventure. Dude, that sounds pretty banging, honestly. A 30-hour action game seems crazy. Aren't most Devil May Cry's? Because this is kind of like a mix of like Dark Souls and Devil May Cry. It's got like parries and dodges and combos, but it's also kind of slow. Its story, light RPG elements, and the actual substance of its characters, on the other hand, falls short of the high mark set by its combat. Stellar Blade certainly isn't pristine, and in some spots it's positively dull, but it's sharp in the areas that matter most. Okay, yeah, I did see a couple of these blurbs talking about the fact that apparently it does have some slower moments. That to me is a huge deal breaker. If your game has a cool beginning and a cool ending, or has like huge chunks in the middle that are flat out boring, that to me is bad. Bad pacing is certainly an issue. But as it currently exists, I think this is very positive. I mean, I guessed personally, I thought it was going to get like somewhere in the range of high 80s. I said, yeah, I guessed high 80s, but man, it's pretty much right where I thought it was going to be. I mean, like 3 or 4 points lower than I was probably hoping. I was hoping for like an 86, came out to, let's do one last refresh. Let's see what the final Metacritic is shaping out to. My God, you have to scroll past so many positive reviews. My God. Okay, there we go. Still 81. Pretty dang good. But what do you guys think? Currently, I think Stellar Blade is still the top-selling game on the PlayStation 5 store, which is wild. The pre-orders for this are through the freaking roof, but just out of curiosity, are you buying it? Are you excited about it? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. I am going to be doing my own review of it on Friday. My plan is to stay up all night, check it out, play the first like 10 hours, and give you some goods and bads of what I think of the early chapters of the game after having grinded in the demo so much. But tell me your thoughts, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.